So thank you so much, everybody, for taking time out of your, no doubt, epic Wednesday to jump on and listen to this presentation. I'm really hoping that some of you will have something to contribute as well if you do catering in your tuck shop. We've recently put together a new resource that I'll show you in a minute, but this is not my area of expertise. I can't pretend to have done a whole lot of catering in my years. So please chip in if you've got anything to add. I'm hoping that'll be a bit of a collab for you conveners to brainstorm as well, which might be useful, hopefully. So today we're discussing catering for your school community. And as always, I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners and custodians of the lands across Australia. I'm just going to move this out of the way. And their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. We recognise that Aboriginal peoples and Torres Strait Islander peoples each have their own unique languages, beliefs, cultural practices and diversity within each culture. Ooh. Sorry, not sure what that's there for. Those of you that haven't met me already, my name's Natalie Aruja. I'm a project officer at Quast. I have been with Quast for a little while now, about a year and a half, working on various things, whatever needs doing really. Before that, I was a tuck shop convener at my own kids' primary school. And I have a Master of Public Health and I have an interest in nutrition and all things to do with food and healthy lifestyles. So that is me. But what I don't have is a heap of experience in catering, but I will do my best. So today we're going to have a quick update on what's new at Quast, and then we will get into the content of the session, which is on catering. We're going to discuss a couple of things to consider if you're new to catering. Then I'll be giving you some of our suggestions, some menu ideas of actual items that might be good options for you and some inspiration. And then as always, we'll have some time for questions and discussion the whole way through. Feel free to chip in. All right, so over at Quast, we do have a couple of new member resources up on our website now. So we have a brand new catering guide for tuck shops, which has lovely pictures and lots of information, which you can jump on and have a look at. We've also put together a procedure guide for the last day of term or for the year, which is related to the topic that we spoke about a fortnight ago for the network meeting, and also some information about tuck shop meal deals. Some of you may already have plans for this Friday, which is tuck shop day. I'd love to hear what you're doing if you're celebrating or having a special menu. And then lastly there's just the remaining dates for the year for our training. So we have a face-to-face food safety supervisor course, which is at our Quast office in Coorparoo in Brisbane on Monday, the 4th of November. There's a virtual convener course on the 11th of November. So the following Monday, that's with me. And another food safety supervisor course, this one is online as well on the same day. That's with Karen. And then our virtual pathway to profit course the following day on the Tuesday. So if any of those appeal and you think you'd like to get some of those under your belt before the year ends, jump on our website and you can see if there's any spaces available. All right, so for catering, what does catering look like at schools? There are various types of events that you might be asked to cater for. Healthy catering for school events is actually a great way to showcase your tuck shop and also promote nutrition and well-being at your school. You may also find that you attract parents as volunteers who haven't previously engaged with the tuck shop. So it might be a good opportunity in many ways. It does create extra work for you outside of your normal tuck shop week, but with some careful planning and organisation, catering doesn't have to be a burdensome procedure. So some of the kinds of events that you might be asked to cater for Staff development days, which are called PD or professional development. Sometimes they need lunch provided. Workshops, staff meetings, guest speakers, official events, so something like the awards night, the graduation ceremony, P&C fundraisers. For example, the school disco. You might be asked to feed the kids and the parents. There might be a welcome barbecue at your school at the start of each year that you'll be asked to cater. Also, something like the prep information day or a school open day or evening. You might be asked to cater that event as well. Next slide, please. There we go. Important things to consider. Firstly, be realistic with what you can offer people. Once you've taken these things into consideration, what is your budget? Your budget determines how much and what kind of food you can offer. What staffing do you have available? People power determines what's possible to achieve. So have a look at who's available when to help you. If you need to prepare items earlier in the day due to staff availability, then this will be a consideration for what food options can actually be prepped in advance for serving later on. So bear in mind who's available when it comes to your prep. Of course, there are food safety considerations in addition to your normal day-to-day tuck shop food safety operations, and specific considerations for dietary needs, allergy needs, and cultural requirements as well. Try not to bite off more than you can chew. Once you've considered all of these points, you can decide on your menu items that will fit the brief without being overly complicated or difficult for you to achieve. Remember, you're still running the tuck shop as usual and doing the catering in addition. So when it comes to budget, consider how much time you'll spend planning and preparing and add this into your cost per head. Factoring in making a profit if required. So talk to the P&C or the school finance department about whether you're required to make a profit, and also about the specific budget that's been allocated for catering each event. Aim for a menu that meets the needs of the client but is also realistic and achievable. And I'm going to go into some more specifics about costing your menu in a little while. So in terms of staffing considerations, like I said before, have a think about who's available to help you prepare, who's available to help you serve. You don't want to find yourself right before serving time with heaps to do and nobody around to help you. Remember, like I said before, you'll be running the tuck shop as usual during the week. So try and avoid burning out your staff or yourself. Make sure you factor staff wages into your costing as required. So some food safety considerations. All food service facilities are required to fulfill their regulatory responsibilities in accordance with the Food Safety Act of 2008 and food regulations of 2009. If you're offering a self-service style of catering, if you're offering a self-service style of catering, ensure that you have adequate serving utensils to avoid cross-contamination. So particularly if you've got gluten-free items, make sure you're not using the same pair of tongs for the gluten-free and the gluten-containing items. Maintaining food temperatures. So 60 degrees or higher if it's hot items that you're serving, 5 degrees or colder if it's cold items that you're serving. If you or your staff haven't ever completed a food handlers course, we have a free one on our website. You can check the availability for upcoming dates. And there's the link there. So in terms of dietary requirements and allergies, if you don't know the dietary requirements of the clients that you're catering for, just try to cover a range of the most common requests, which would be vegetarian or vegan and also gluten-free are the most common ones. Clearly mark these items, keep them separate from the rest of the food. So on a separate end of the table or a separate section completely. And like I said before, separate utensils as well. An understanding of common food allergens is part of running a tuck shop. If you don't already have relevant allergen training, there are some free courses which are listed on our website, not run by us, but run by the National Allergy Council. There's the link there to where you can find information about those free courses. This would be highly recommended for all food handlers as best practice to have a food allergen training course under your belt, if nobody already does. So we'll just talk a little bit about quantities. So the aim is that you have enough food that your guests are satisfied, but with minimal waste. So we don't want people to leave hungry, but also if you've overdone it, then you will end up needing to throw out quite a lot of things. If the items that you're preparing will spoil quickly, don't have a long shelf life, or can't be frozen, or if your catering budget is particularly tight, it is more important to get the quantities right. So factors to consider when deciding on quantities. Obviously, the number of attendees, how many people are coming, the demographics of the group, so the age of the group, the gender of the group. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you're catering an end of season football function with a bunch of hungry teenage boys who have just played football, it will be quite a different menu that you're offering to a morning tea function for the staff, for example. The nature of the activity. So a school dance would be quite a different menu to a staff meeting. The duration of the event and actually what time it's taking place. And what meal or snack are you looking to offer? So is it morning tea or is it dinner? And actually the size of the individual items that you will be providing. This affects quantities as well. Obviously, bigger pieces, you need less of them. So a general guide. I'm getting a new laptop next week, which is obviously not too soon. A general guide. So we've popped on here just roughly how many items per person. So one sandwich, which is 2 slices of bread or 1 wrap, 1 cup of salad or leafy greens or raw vegetables. If it's cooked vegetables, a portion would be 1/2 cup. 1 medium piece of fresh fruit, so an apple or a pear, or 2 small pieces of fresh fruit if it's something like plums. Diced or canned fruit, you would look at providing 1 cup per person. 40 grams of cheese, which is around about 2 slices, and around about 1/2 cup of pasta or rice per person. So those are your rough portion sizes. These quantities need to be adjusted depending on the meal you're providing. So for example, for dinner, a serve of pasta might increase to 1 cup. Okay, so just with costing, some considerations. The catering cost to the client depends on their choice of items, as well as what style of service they request. So if they want you to serve them or if it's going to be self-serve, the cost will end up being different. Before you specify the cost to the client, or if they've pre-allocated a budget in advance to you, it's recommended to draw up a detailed ingredients list, factoring in any additional items such as your packaging, your napkins, your condiments, and remember to allow for profit if that is required. You then need to add up how long you think it will take you to prepare and serve the food, including delivery, setup and clean up, and then factor these into your quote. You might like to consider whether you think you'll charge the same for a within school event as you charge to external guests. And for more detailed guidance on how to mark up menu items, we offer the Pathway to Profit course that I mentioned earlier. We run both online and face-to-face throughout the year. All right, so now we've actually got some ideas here, and please chip in if you've got something to share, if you have found something that works really well when you've been doing catering yourselves. So for breakfast, we thought approximately 5 to 6 portions per person and choose from the following. So something like brekkie burritos can work well. So with an omelette in the middle, and you put it inside a wrap, and you would allocate about 1/2 of a burrito or wrap per person. There's lots of different fillings that you might like to try. A fresh fruit cup, which would be 1 cup per person of fresh fruit, or a fruit kebab, which we've got in the picture here. So 1 of those sticks per person would count in your 5 to 6 portions. A small piece of frittata, 2 pikelets with toppings, if it's jam or fruit, yogurt, things like that. Muffins, if they're full-size muffins, 1 per person. If they're mini muffins, 2 per person. Muesli with yogurt, muesli with fruit on top, 1 small cup per person. There are heaps of other ideas on our new resource as well on our website. Has anyone ever catered breakfast? Nobody's ever catered breakfast? Let's look at morning or, oh, no, we've got afternoon tea next. No, we've got lunch next, sorry. So for lunch, we're saying aim for 3 to 4 portions per person for a lunch function. So a sandwich, wrap or roll with various fillings, you would allocate half a sandwich per person. But like we said before, this is to be adjusted. So if it's a rugby lunch, you're probably going to want more, like 1 whole sandwich per person. 1/2 cup of salad. Sorry, I'm just reading the messages in the chat. No problem. Yes, we will email the PowerPoint to everybody tomorrow. Catering next week, Tanya. Excellent. Well timed. 1/2 cup of salad, 1/2 cup of pasta. If you're making a pasta dish, so a pasta bake or something like that. If you have a meat platter, you could allocate 1 piece of meat per person. If you're doing cheese and crackers, 2 slices of cheese, which is 40 grams, and 2 crackers per person. It doesn't sound like a lot, but remember you're choosing 3 or 4 things per person. Sushi or rice paper rolls, 2 if they're mini, or 1 whole rice paper roll if it's full size. So once you've had 3 to 4 of those things, that's probably enough for lunch for most people, if it's a meeting anyway. Come on. Barbecues. So I'll just check I didn't miss a slide there. I did. I knew I did. I missed the morning tea one. All right. So for morning or afternoon tea, it would basically be a similar menu, and you would choose 5 to 6 portions per person. Something like sushi. So back to the sushi, you can have all sorts of fillings, and you could allocate 2 mini pieces per person. That would be 1 portion. If you're doing up a big fruit platter, allow 2 to 3 slices of fruit per person. If you're making mini muffins or mini scones, just 1 of those per person with everything else is enough. If you're doing baked goods, 1 small slice, something like a caramel slice or hedgehog slice, just 1 piece. And vegetable sticks and dip can work quite well. 3 to 4 vegetable sticks plus a tablespoon of dip per person. It's actually quite a popular choice. So in terms of dinner, we're just going to talk about barbecues because that tends to be the most popular way to cater a dinner function at schools, particularly here in Queensland. There's actually quite a lot you can do with the barbecue, a lot more than just a snag in a piece of white bread. So, oops. You could do burgers. So you could offer a lean beef patty, a chicken patty, or a veggie patty. So 3 options to choose from with salad and reduced fat cheese. You could do some vegetable skewers. So they're a great option for vegans and vegetarians. And also they are gluten-free, depending on what sauce you put. A sausage on bread is fine, ideally wholemeal or multigrain bread rather than white bread. And you could do this with a side of coleslaw or a side of corn like that. You can cook your corn on the barbecue. That is about all my suggestions for barbecues. In fact, that's all my suggestions. Does anyone have anything to add? What do you do that works really well? Anyone that's already been catering for a while? You can pop it in the chat if you want, or raise your hand, or just speak up.
Yeppoon High, actually,
Hi.
we usually do morning teas and lunches. We don't do breakfast. And we do some barbecues, which are for the mainly Japanese international students at the
Oh,
end
good
of their
idea.
visit. Yeah. So we just do the salads for those, and they always have rib fillet steak and sausages. And we just do up the bowls of salad, and they just get their own salad because they, don't really like a few things that we like here.
So
And
somebody else does the meat for you?
yeah, so we don't actually cook it. We just prepare it all and order it in, sort of thing, for
Right.
that function. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And morning teas, we usually do a cake or scones or something like that, and fruit or a yogurt. And then for lunches, we'll do just a variety. We actually really ask them what they prefer. We sort of give them a list of food options, um, sandwiches, wraps, quiches, sushi. Yeah. And then
So
they
are
just
you
really,
usually given a budget in advance to work within, or do you quote them?
well, some we get a budget and some we quote them. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
why I
And
thought I'd
with your
listen.
cakes, yeah. With your cakes, do you make up a big slab cake and then cut it into pieces?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. That's awesome.
with the slab cake, what we do, which is excellent, we found out off a volunteer that she used to own a cafe. So there is a bag of muffin mix that you can actually get from Big Food. So yeah, you just add water and it is very good, very cheap. And that's what we actually use.
Awesome. And do you just freeze
Yeah.
leftovers and use them next time?
We don't have leftovers. It just
Oh, there's
goes.
no leftovers.
No, teachers love it. Yeah, so we just put a bit of cake out here and there, and the kids have some, and the teachers come in all the time. So if you're interested, girls or men, yeah, muffin mix from Big Food. It comes in a big bag, very cheap, tastes good, and everyone loves it.
Fantastic. And
Yeah,
you just have to add water. You don't need eggs or
that's
milk or
no,
butter.
don't need anything. No, very cheap and it's beautiful actually. Yeah,
That is an
put
excellent
cocoa.
tip.
Yeah, put your chocolate in there, or if you want to do a carrot cake, you just put your carrot in there. Yeah, there's heaps of different cakes. It's just sort of like a plain cake, but you can add anything.
Yeah. So you could
Yeah,
add berries and things to it as well.
yeah, yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. Thank you
And
so
make
much.
actual muffins out of that muffin mix as well. So you
Tash
don't
is
have to
using it
do the
as
big
well.
stuff.
She said she
Yeah, it's
uses a
really
Big
good.
Food muffin mix. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, really good.
Um, is it not okay to use Sara Lee muffins? H Westbrook, is that as in for Smart Choices? Oats are another great addition. Yes. Thank you, Chrissy. They sure are. Somebody else has said they've done a Mexican feast before, which was for a staff professional development day. Great idea. They had 3 different meats, nachos, wraps, taco shells, all the salad toppings in self-serve style, which sounds delicious. And people like the self-service because they can mingle and chat and, you know, network while they're getting their food as well.
Yeah, so that was me who asked about the Sara Lee muffins.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. So yeah, recently I catered just for after the awards event at our school here, and I just basically bought a Sara Lee slab chocolate cake. And whatever leftovers we had, I just sold out through the tuck shop to the kids just for, you know, like get to sell it and to and it went so well that, and because we don't have much in the way of snacks that are like, I mean, we have popcorn and bits and pieces, but there really isn't much for just a little something, you know. And so I tried out the Sara Lee blueberry muffins that come pre-packaged.
Yeah.
And they are just like amazing. The kids love them, the teachers love them, I love them. But I'm hearing people saying that they're making things from muffin mixes, and I really don't think there'd be much of a difference as far as your sugar content and all that sort of stuff if you're going to buy a muffin mix from Bidford's, that as to using a Sara Lee already made muffin.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying in terms of the nutritional content.
Yes.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any difference. I think the beauty of the bulk one from Bidfood is you can make it into a giant slab and cut it up for your catering that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
okay.
that's what Rebecca's doing. Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure there wasn't a difference because of nutritional value rather than, you know, so yeah.
I wouldn't have thought so. I'd have to look at the nutrition panel on both products and compare them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. It's usually with your processed foods, it's usually sugar content. So it comes up as energy or calories.
Yes.
And saturated fat that will push it into the red food category. But for catering events, if it's for adults, that doesn't need to be taken into consideration.
No.
Yeah. If you're planning to add them to your regular menu and you are trying to be a Smart Choices compliant menu, then you'd probably need to have a look at the nutrition panel or send it through to me and I can have a look.
Okay.
If it's an item that you're going to have on your regular day-to-day menu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything that they want to throw out there? Stuff that's worked well, stuff that hasn't worked at all. So Tash does a mixture of wraps, sandwiches, fruit platters, mixture of dips, crackers, salami, ham, cheese, and carrot sticks. Tash, is that as a self-service style? Yep. Okay. That sounds delicious as well. And can you do gluten-free, vegetarian, and you just keep them separate? All right. Oh, you have done gluten-free. Excellent. Okay, well done, everybody. Is it a lot of extra work, do you find, in addition to your tuck shop week, if you know you have an event coming up? Or does it work okay as long as you've got notice and you can plan around it? What do you think? Works okay if you have notice? Okay, good. Rebecca, what have you found? Is it a hassle or does it go fine as long as you know? With notice? Yep. Okay. Good. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. So Chrissy has put a link to the new resource just up there in the chat, the full catering guide, which is for members. There's a link there. Otherwise, you can find it if you go onto our website and search under resources. Search for catering. No volunteers. Goodness, well done. You're a superstar. You would need a lot of notice. So you're doing a breakfast club, Tanya. Your mind, I bet, your mind is exploding. In terms of generally, it's fine. It's the volunteers that are hard to find. It absolutely is volunteers that are hard to find. Yeah. I'd like to think it would get better. I'm just not sure that it will. People are so time poor these days and just not fitting in a little tiny stint in tuck shop at all, which is a little bit sad and it makes it hard. for you. You're all doing an amazing job. It's a whole separate issue, isn't it? Finding volunteers. Okie doke. I think we might wrap that up. There's also, yes, there is a catering order form template. Thank you. Wow, you have a 68-year-old. That's fabulous. I'd like to know her secret. Yeah, grandparents can be very, very, very helpful. And they often have a little bit more time than parents as well. It's just finding how to tap into them, I think, how to actually get their attention. All right, thank you all so much. I'm going to stop recording now and stop sharing my screen. And thank you to the person that suggested this topic. It was really interesting for me to learn more about catering. And thank you all so much for contributing your ideas. That's fabulous. You're the ones out there doing this every day, so we really appreciate your input. Please do get in touch if there's something you'd like to hear about. We've got Food Safety 101 is the last Tuckshop Network meeting for the year, which is in a couple of weeks. And would love some suggestions for what we can chat about next year. All right. Thank you.